we are honored to have industry luminaries joining us today as keynote speakers. Please give a warm welcome to Rrahul Sethi, whose insights and expertise will undoubtedly inspire us throughout this conference. Rrahul Sethi. He is the founder of Metaverse 911, and he is there to share his views on opening keynote address 1, that is gamification plus brands and match made in heaven. That's a really interesting topic. Thank you, sir.
My job here is first to listen. So audience, when you said you were talking about movies, Tarak Mehta, and so much is happening. There's a lot of interest in accelerating media now. The point really is that the audiences have also gotten segmented. So hence the need of new innovative ideas have come. Was it not relevant 20 years back? It was even relevant when Doordarshan was being there. Because if it was not relevant, there was no ABP or there was no Star in India. The content, if you look at from old days, the serials or those, the ones that we grew up, whether it was the comics also we grew up, all of that media has just been completely or continued to get transformed in many ways. And at some point, while vernacular content was getting created, a lot of movies from South were being released again in Hindi or other languages. But similarly, at the same time, a number of creators also are being motivated to recreate those experiences, but those experiences were possibly in the format of games, in the format of 3D 360 games, because we had to move out from a regular Google mobile kind of thing to a more of a 360 or a 3D sort of a infrastructure. And then comes to the brands who never had used that sort of thought of engaging with the community, with the content which is gamified, with the content that's motivated with something that's been very successful. Punjab National Bank, how many people have an account with Punjab National Bank here? 1, 2, 3, so say 3%. How many of you would ever go and tell somebody, if I were to come to you and say, hey, I want to open an account with Punjab National Bank? How many of you will tell me to go do it? So Punjab National Bank went into the metaverse. Nobody is going and telling their children, their nieces and nephews, that hey, open an account. Generally they'll say open an account with ICICI, 3-4 options, ICICI, HDFC, or maybe 1 or 2 other options. Regular private banking. Punjab National Bank goes into the metaverse, and I am so proud and motivated when I looked at their metaverse experience. First time, I'm Sethi, I'm Punjabi, I belong to Ambala, I'm born and brought up in Ambala. And could you ever imagine Avatar is also having a turban with actually a Sikh-looking avatar? When was the last time we ever thought that Avatar also will have a religious connotation in the content? Essentially what it means is that essentially what they're doing is, now they're going in and targeting the audience in a way that there is a relationship, the content relationship goes one step ahead. The question really is, while gaming as a sector which involves 3 or 4 core things, you start with storyboarding, you go into the modeling, and then animation, maybe some sort of a rigging, whatever. Those are skills. Once you have created a game, all you want is people to play games. You want them to be there for some time. So the time that people spend on the games, the number of people you bring on the game is all the metrics you're worried at. However, what's really happening today in the world that I live in, where brands are now going and participating in creating new gamified experiences. Let's take an example of Nike. Everybody knows Nike is a shoe company. We all have worn Nike once in a while, once in a lifetime, right? Or people are also going and buying Nike all the time. Nike goes into the metaverse to creating a game which is dodgeball. Simple, dodge the ball, that's all. It's so simple a game that even kids can play. My daughter is here, she was telling me she plays games. And I was asking her, what kind of games do you play? One of the most basic ones is dodgeball. You know how many people played that game in 6 months? From 70 countries, Nike made over $300+ million just in that one game. That's all. Nike is the first company in the world that's having today a digital shoe company. Nike is no more a physical shoe company. No, that's one segment. And they have a proper company which sells that shoe, which is a virtual shoe. So next time, when I call an artist from some place and a lot of artists come and new age singers and new age concerts and whatever, that person who comes on a stage, if I were to just take an example, and his avatar on this stage shows the shoe that's been worn by a company, a startup here, anyone who doesn't have a store, who doesn't have a large team, all has got is a QR code, and the avatar of that singer is wearing that shoe. Then whoever comes into that gamified experience gives just $1 or $2 or $5 to have his avatar or her avatar wear that virtual shoe. A startup sold that in 4 hours, $18 million worth of shoes in the US. That was 3 years back. So brands and gamification have a magical relationship. It's getting built. Brands are the one who can take the gamification, isn't it? I was reading about this article a few weeks back, that brands have always been part of the movie production as well. It's not new. Ariel था वो हंगामा पिक्चर में, मेरे को तो अभी तक याद है, एरियल था वो जो कॉमेडियन कपड़े धो रहा है, बगल में एरियल पड़ा हुआ है. So there was always an intervention of brands and as far as the content is concerned. Now that's going to a different level altogether. So what does this relationship mean to the community? While I can talk about 20,000 different examples, this guy did this guy did this, everybody has done something all his life. The relationship is that now, and say in the next 2 or 3 years, you will find a unicorn that won't have an office, that won't have a physical product, that doesn't have a physical customer. You might think, oh, this looks too far. This looks too far. The same feeling I also had. I was in Virginia, and my friend and me, we went out to a mall. That's where was Tesla getting launched. This was, I think, 2000, maybe 14, 15, something like that. It was just the time when Tesla was launched, maybe 10 or 12, something like that, many years back. And the lady out there with an iPad was taking the instructions. Okay, what color do you want? And you know, Tesla is not ordered from a store. You can only buy Tesla online. Tesla, you can't buy Tesla because you go to a store and say, oh, I'll write a check. No. You go online. So she's telling me, sir, all the things about the car, whatever. It was the first time I opened the boot, and that's got some space. I opened the bonnet, that's got nothing. So we have a car which doesn't have an engine. Second, we have a car which doesn't have engine and hence doesn't need a fuel. There's also a Tesla now which running which doesn't need driver. It's hilarious. You're sitting, if I were to tell my dad, sit in a car that does not have an engine and also does not have a driver and go to meet somebody or some of your friend, he's not going. I don't want to sit in that car. We thought it's not possible. No, it's possible, it's happening. Similarly, the same thing will happen when brands will adapt and brands will embrace this community, this whole content generation, the way content is being disseminated and things like that. Let's look at the negative side of it. Where do people go wrong? Since our business is all about research and advisory, so you might think that I have a lot of news. In fact, I have overflow of news sometimes. So, for me to take out information which is right and which is not right, it's like when people say that technically brands will have, and every brand will have some intervention in this trade. Answer is no. Maybe 10%. The problem with any industry, any growing industry, is the same problem that entrepreneurs, when they get started in their business and land into a city, or an artist lands into Mumbai, thinks every producer will sign him because there is so many producers. Every media house is waiting for him. The thought is, मैं आ गया नगरी में, ये अब मेरी है. No, Nagari never told him कि मैं तेरी हूँ. It's thinking, isn't it? When we do BE or an engineering, we think every company can hire me. It's not true. We're built for very certain types of business. We're built for very certain types of work. And time tells. Hence, therefore, not every brand will be able to get into this gamification or whichever way, 2D, 3D, 360, metaverse, non-metaverse. It's absolutely fine. Gigi spoke about NFTs. Trust me, I'm proud of you. You definitely did the right thing. You pick up an image, put that online and say it's an NFT. It's a joke. There were some 50,000 people, all social media hero, also take selfie with some and then go put it online. In fact, incidentally, I was speaking to one British guy yesterday or the day before. I had to almost tell him that, hey, it's okay. We have spoken for an hour. And he's telling me that he's done so much in NFT. That he's made 60,000 pounds or something last year or during the COVID, whatever, by reselling NFTs, whatever. But where is it now? The NFT part of digital experiences is what I am very, very convinced. Utility based. So Gary Vee is a very senior marketing professional in the US. He definitely speaks very straightforward, and so a lot of people follow him. And of course me, and of course newer generation, a lot of people like him. He does this show every year, some 3 or 4 or 5 shows in the US every year, and whatever hackathons they are or whatever. So they sell ticket. Everybody, I think, sells ticket anyway. He made an NFT rather than the ticket and sold that, I think, in the first few days, all of the next 1 year or 2. Done. Now, this is a real business, okay? Let me know how this is real business. There's a hostel company out here in India. The hostel, they are like a Make My Trip of hostel. So hostel company also built NFT, which was about 3 years back. And 3 years back, and since when they had made it, they spoke to me. We used to talk a lot about how it should be circulated, what is the kind of strategy should be, and all that. What they're essentially doing is they are essentially going and saying, hey, you buy my NFT and I give you concierge services at a discounted price, right? So I'm a hostelier, and hosteliers are all backpacked because the family guys won't go do it. It's going to be mostly Gen Z, very youth, young, so ready to go stay wherever they want to stay. So what they do is they essentially give concierge in many other services, but let's say 6 months later, if I'm the one who owns the NFT, I don't want it. Come give it to him. So it's a tradable benefit. generally our reward points get collapsed. No? But whatever the rewards we create after 1 year, they say, okay, it's over. Something like that. Here, we're able to trade it off. Similarly, Gary Vee also did the same thing. He gave the NFT card, but if I don't like it, I'll give it to her. So 6 shows I have done, 6 shows are there, but then there is no ticket of the other 6. Hence, there is a value of that NFT. So we covered a lot of digital, the physical, the virtual, the brand and gamification as an experience. And happy to take any questions, by the way, because it's just 6 minutes left. But any questions are welcome. There's a very important part that I think from a community perspective, let's discuss that. Because we are ultimately creators. And I heard this wonderful 2 sessions and I'm so delighted that you're thinking about creators. Absolutely. It is now going to be, and future is for creators. Gone are days when we thought one company will own everything. No. If one company owned everything, Meta, who started the metaverse movement, would have never been at number 10. What a joke. Zuckerberg comes, says, I am Meta. He is now the number 10. Nobody wants to hear him. Because the feeling of being controlled by the community is not going to work. So decentralization or blockchain-based solutions, I think Google, and I might need some correction, but I think Google, or a social media, which I think you'll be very easily be able to go online and check, is now giving you the points, the rewards for how much do you use that particular social media, by the way. So it's that thing is coming within even the centralized companies that we have to reward people for them to use our service. Creator economy will play a very big role in the way we will see the penetration amongst and having created communities who will continue to enhance the experiences, who will continue to work together, engage with larger communities, and hence create influencers in the metaverse. Yes, please. This question comes to me almost like every week, 3-4 times. Everybody asks me differently. You've been so nice asking questions.
I think I did not speak on the mouth, so if you can repeat the question.
I definitely heard it.
No, you have for the public. Okay, that's fine.
Okay. The question is, what's going on with Metaverse? There was a lot of hype. So why are you here? What are you doing? That's the question. First of all, I must really thank, I have a picture of Zuckerberg in my office room, by the way. I see him every day. मैं हार भी डालने वाला थोड़े दिनों में. I was thinking I'll put a हार also. Then I thought, नहीं. Maybe some people get offended कि मैंने हार डाल दिया. But I truly respect him because I'm in this trade for 5 years. We used to go ask time to people and we never got 20 minutes. Forget I'm standing here 40 minutes. Thank you to them. Who called us from Mercy Tech? People didn't know what is augmented reality and virtual reality. I go talk to all the FMCG brands, starting from Dabur being my client, to Biryani by Kilo being my client, to Hindustan Aeronautics Limited in Bangalore being my client. They would say, come over, aakar dikhao. Hey Baba, I'm virtual. No. Sir doesn't understand. So I have to go everything with me. And there used to be plans. I will go create a nice, good kit. I'll fix everything. Takes 15 instruments and equipments, to them and show it to them. Trust me, I've designed it. Zuckerberg comes with that thing. That I will never forget, changed my life. He comes and says, we will live in a virtual world and we'll do this. Hype got created because he changed the name to Meta. What did I say when I started? It's not for the 100% companies. Is AI for all 100%? For all the hype it has got today? Which will tomorrow what hotel also will use AI? No. 10-15% companies. Yeah, there could be little 10-15% intervention of AI in businesses as a common, being a common ground. But honestly, it's meant for very limited number of companies. Number two, why would you really get into a metaverse? Unless and until you don't want to sell. Now, companies came up and said, we'll create a virtual store. My God. Who goes into a virtual store? There's a huge, large brand, 1,400 stores. The chairman wants to meet me. I didn't go meet him. Why do you need a virtual store when you have 1,400 stores already? Instead, create your brand convention center. And the solution I gave was also unique. They have this, I may take another 1 or 2 minutes just in case. The brands is a ethnic but expensive brand. The brand sells to between 25 to 27 years old to approximately 50 years old kind of a women. Wants to create a virtual store. So that's shot down. Comes to what should we do? And everybody says, engage with Gen Z, engage with him, right? With 25-year-old, 26-year-old, they have time. They will go into the metaverse, whatever they'll do certain things online because they have new nice phones and whatever. My take is different. Engage with the 50-year-old. And the lady says, why? I said, because 26-year-old girl, boy or a girl, doesn't matter. Do we have time when we were 25, 26? We're trying to make our career. At least 25, 26 May, there's hardly people have time. Or the girl will get married, or the boy, Papa Mummy will be finding some girl. There's always some or the other ruckus when you're 25 to 28, around the age, at least from the times I come from. But that 50-year-old lady has got a 20, 21, or maybe around that age girl, daughter. Create a convention center. Tell her, we will teach you 4 forms of dance. Manipuri, Bharatnatyam, some dance. 5 o'clock, motivate her to come to your brand's convention center. How many of you would not want your daughter, son, whoever, to go into a metaverse experience and learn something creatively? Is there anybody who will say, I want? Perfect, no? They're eating guns game. That's marketing. You haven't really utilized the content to communicate and connect with the right people. Being in the virtual world, you've got to be extremely thinking physical. You have to read people's mind. You can't say I'm virtual and hence I'll think virtually. No. You got to connect. So I think with that, metaverse is there. As of today, number of projects are going on. I am personally being involved in projects with businesses, banks. I can tell you Kotak Mahindra Bank is doing very well with the metaverse. They have done about approximately 35,000 people training sessions in the metaverse. PayPal is doing very, very good. We've got Adani Reality. In fact, I've been involved in the project. Adani Reality has got this project called in BKC called 10BKC. And 10BKC, if you go online on Google, right away you can do it. You just type on Google 10BKC Adani Reality Metaverse. They have given NFTs to their 10BKC owners. So project will be delivered after 3 or 4 years. NFT has been given to the people already. And now there are gamified experiences in those apartments. So like when I buy an apartment, I can go and send my children in the evening saying, you go play games in my apartment. Super. So next time, the lady or the kid will go online on Instagram and say, I played the game on Adani Reality. Hence, there is an opportunity. So very serious players and very serious businesses will take the use of metaverse going forward. I have been able to answer the whole story. I hope. Anything else? Yes, please.
what you talked about is actually very relevant, but again, our friend here triggered the question, right? There was a lot of excitement about metaverse. What happened now? Again, double clicking on what you just mentioned, we understood it all wrong, right? And we are using it all wrong, to be very honest and fair. Because like everything, we all got excited because there is a new name that came in without us understanding the depth of what value it will bring on table. Every industry will have to use in some shape and form and meta environment, because in order to actually avoid following, we are in different time and different places sometimes, and the brand need to talk to you 24/7 regardless of where you are, right? Can I be available in some shape and form that you see me, you experience me in some shape, right? Without being physically present or touching things around. So brands are trying to use metaverse to actually bridge that gap and being available regardless of time and space. Every industry for that matter, be it hospitality, be it food industry, be it fashion, be it your buildings and etc. So you have to be available. Now, how do we use it? Are we using it the right way? Is a big question on the table. A lot of the, I would say, the brands misunderstand how it has to be used, and it's not a replacement of your physical presence and of your digital. So going back to the older times when people said, right, brick and mortar no more, what's going to happen to the physical stores, right? We're getting digital. Today, brick and mortar also exists, digital also exists, and we are getting into the meta. Three will exist, but we need to figure out at what percentage they have to complement each other. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to add on.
Well said, wonderful. Well said. So I think, yeah, with this, there is so much to talk, so much to say in this trade.
Absolutely.
But I think now and going forward, you can keep a tab on it. It'll just become, and last point very quickly, which I shouldn't forget, is the hardware acceleration. I was recently in Malaysia at the Digital Procurement Summit, and was addressing the CPOs of almost some of the largest companies like Nestle, and so many CPOs being there. And I was wearing a RealWear Me, which is a headgear, sort of a very interesting piece of thing for remote assistance and so many other things. And I was able to relay whatever I was doing. I was able to relay the whole event also online, plus as well on the screen here. So headgear acceleration, hardware acceleration is giving a lot of motivation to creators, because earlier wohi tha, I am having great content, 3D content, but I don't have the compute power. Today we have compute power also getting better and better with NVIDIA 800 series all the way to 800. There's so much GPUs also coming into the play that I think these two will sort of also help each other in terms of the greater adaptability of the content in tier 2, tier 3 cities as well. So with that, thank you very much for listening to me. Appreciate and have a great day ahead.
So can we have a big round of applause for Rrahul?
Thank you.
Mitali to come on the stage and felicitate Mr. Rrahul Sethi for his valuable insights and discussions.